Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning, my dear student. Ngasi ahanba oina aina takadoriba chapter sigi mamingdi A Hero. A Hero haina ngasi akoina chapter asida thole se kamdona no haiba se hojik story ase paraga khangani ko muna tasi ko. Father was sitting under the hall lamp and reading the newspaper. Mapa amakakse lem thamba hall amada newspaper paraga lerameba khabar paraga lerameba. He looked over the newspaper and said, "Mana newspaper se phajana munna yenge aduga machanupa da kari hari I harakanda Swami, listen to this." Swami kawe machanupa sigi mamingde. Swami sida hare Swami munna taw masigi paw sida. News has been received about the bravery of a village lad who was returning home by the jungle path. While he was in the middle of the jungle, he came face to face with a tiger. Masiki pause tau Swami nupa macha thauna phaba amakhatang adi khungangi jungle da fauraga mayumda lakpa matamda mana jungle sigi tangkhai chalakpa dawai da kai amakhak face to face haidi haktheng nana thengnabagi wari neba. The newspaper gave a detailed account of the boy's fight with the tiger. Haziki newspaper sida phajana marik chumne iriba nupa macha aduna ne kai aduga khatnabagi. It also described how the boy flew up a tree where he stayed a half a day. At last some people came that way and killed the tiger. Newspaper sida makhatari madudi nupa machaduna haidi kaiduga khatnaraba matungda mana kaidore haidi u magi mathakta kakhatlaga nong magi numit chuppagi tangkhai ma se numit tangkhai ma se aduda wana khange ba ma se matam kharagi matungdadi mi khara laaga dwai area duda leiba mi khara laaga kaido hatokhibagi wari neba newspaper sida phasani iri se. After reading it through, Father looked at Swami fixedly and asked, "What do you say to that?" Mapana newspaper se phajana paraba matungda machanupa da yenge aduga kari hari I harakana nang kari hainingbage masigi pausida wari sida sini haris. "I think he must have been a very strong and grown-up person, not a boy at all," said Swami. "How could a boy fight a tiger?" Machanupa Swami na magi opinion se mapana hangakba matamda mapada Swami na kari hairage harakanda mahak to angang macha nupa macha ni haina ai hainingde mapung marai faraba thauna phaba chauraba nupa mani haina hainingi maramdi angang amana kaiga matau kamdauna khatnagadage haiduna mana mapada haire. "You think you know better than the newspaper," Father said crossly. "A man may have the strength of an elephant and yet to be coward." Mapana sauraga kari hari I harakanda nangna hainingi se newspaper da iriba wari sidagi nangna hena khangi sira sine mapan haris. "Another may be a mere skeleton, but if he has a real courage, he can do anything. Courage is everything. Strength and age doesn't matter must." Swami gi mapana amuk makhatar e madudi mere skeleton na sida wahai ma seasonary se mere skeleton have the very thin haba masa yamna pagira masa paroigera thauna phaba haibase real courage leiba haibado maduna matter ni sini chahiga thaunaga karimta mari leinate angang oigera ahal oigera thaunabu leiradi loina tawba ngamme haibadoni Swami gi mapana haira ise. "How can that be?" said Swami. "Suppose I had a lot of courage, but what could I do if a tiger attacked me?" Madu kamdauna yagadoribano sine Swami na mu yeklize mapada. "Aise thauna mayam leire na khallo wari ni adu erga adugi matam sideida kai amana aingonda attack torkpa matamda ai kari tawgani aina phana thauna leiraga su kaimta tawba ngamoi sine mana mapazida hainingi se. "Can you prove you have courage?" said Father with a scroll. Let me see if you can sleep alone tonight in my office room. Mapa saure sauraga kari hari hakana nang thona kayam leirage habado ngasi proof tawgadabani aingonda aigi office ki kada nang natomda hing tumgadabani aduda khangani nang thona kayam leibage habase haiduna mapana makhatari. Swami had always slept beside his granny in the porch. The two always had their beds side by side. Any change in this arrangement kept him trembling and woke all night. He hoped at first that father was just joking. He tried to change the topic by saying, Father, our captain says we shall have some elders also in our cricket club. He has asked me to tell you. Swami ze thauna layena machinda haizabai waneba mase baranda da magi maboka nungti tuminaba misa makhakneba adusu side by side tumineba mase lapna so tumdeba magi maboki manakta adum lengdana tumba misak amakhakni magi mapana ngasai mangonda magi room sida tumgadamni harakpa matamsi damana khalluiba mapana mangonda just hadi fagi tawbanena adubu topic to change taw khinabagi damakta mana topa wari malisha leba karmaina haizeli harakanda aikoigi cricket club ta aingonda hadi cricket club to da magi mathak hongba mi myam yawi mi singduna hadi malbusu cricket to cricket to the yawnabagi damakta inform tawu hayana mana topic se change tawnaba hotnai. We will see about that later. Father cut in. Hereafter you must live alone. Madugi wado kona khanasi haina mapana haikre habadi mana mapasi mind divert tawnabagi damakta liriba warido mapana kakchatkre aduga haire amabu oro hoziki oinadi nangasi na tomta tumgadabani sini hase. From the 1st of next month I will sleep alone, Swami said very humbly, trying to please father. Swami ze yamna mapazida haizare madudi mathangi thadagi mama tomda tumge haidana. No, you must do it right from today, father said sternly. Mapana yamna chection and strictly mana haire madudi yaroi ngasidagi tumgadavani kudak sidagi tumgadavani seniors. Sleeping beside granny or mother like a baby is disgraceful. Maboki manakta natraga mamagi manakta angang machadong tumba haibase ikai ningai ni sini mapana haise. You are now in the 5th standard and I don't like the way you are being brought up. Nang hozik class 5 karabani nang na hadi ki na mauna chawrak leba mawong zai pamde sini mapana haise. Father lifted the newspaper to his face and started reading it again. Adu haraga mapa amuk newspaper do lokhalaga paba hokre. Swami rose quietly from his place and tiptoed to his bed in the porch. Swami se tuminna hogatlaga makhon thokhandana porch da baranda da ma chatkre magi adi khuninga khatlaga ma tumin chatkre. Granny was sitting up in her bed and she said, Boy, are you already feeling sleepy today? Don't you want to hear a story? Nupa macha nang ngasidi mabuk si ngasagi famungda phamaga leiramdoineba hayek kadoine aduga nupa masa nang ngasidi tumninga baro ngantana nang aigi wari tararoi dro sini hanga ise mangonda. Swami made no reply. He threw himself on the bed and pulled the blanket over his face. Swami se mabuk na haira iba wa se amata khumdreba ma tuminna famungda changchallaga tumgre blanket na mamai do kupchalaga. Don't cover your face, said Granny. Are you really so sleepy? Mabuk na makatari nang namay da blanket na kupsan bado kupsan ganun nang butaseng na tumning labra ne haidan hangaib. Swami uncovered his face a little and whispered, Please, please, Granny, don't talk to me and don't let anyone disturb me even if the house is on fire. I shall perhaps die if I don't sleep at once. Mana tumin na haireba. Please, please, Granny, ibok. Aingonda wa matulon bira agano aingonda disturb tawiragano yumse hauzik mai horaga leiribani. Aduna ai tumhaudragadi sirani sungsoi soidana sini harise aduna ai tumnaba tawrage sini mana maboksida harise. Then he turned over and curled under the blanket. Aduga mathoro maro olaga blanket manungda tumgreba tum. He started snoring, but soon found his blanket pulled away. Father was standing over him. Yamna tukna mana koktuna tumgre, tumba hogre, blanket kupsalaga, blanket kupsaliba blanket to mapana phat launa chingthokaga, mapana magi mamangda lepaga lerame. Get up, Swami, father commanded. He looked like a ghost in the semi-darkness of the porch. Ngasaygi mana mapazina sauraga haire, hogotlo Swami, na command tor e mangonda. Hogotlo, and haraga mani yenga matamse butpu maleba amambaduda khara mammi mamli toba maphamsidagi mani yenglakpa matamsideda. Swami stared and groaned as if in sleep. Swami je yamna kanna move torga yam tukan shatina idi tumkhiba kanna tumkhibagi mawong ni mana tawrise. Get up, Swami, said father a second time. Hogolo na mapana amukasu second time on hare eba anirak subo in hare eba. Why do you disturb him? Granny pleaded. Maboksin hari karigino mangonda disturb tawbiri sibon. Magi hedi masuzigi michang changagani ko maboksin hari ize. Get up, Swami, said father for the third time, and Swami got up. Ahumlak subo oina mapana hogolo na sauraga harakpa matam steady. Swami hogot crave. Father rolled up his bed, took it under his arm and said, "Come with me." Mapana ngasagi Swami ni hipliba famunga do tasale aduga mana kolaga puraga chatkre aduga machanu pada hairame aigi tungda lao haina. Swami looked at Granny, hesitated for a moment, and then followed his father into the office room. Swami je upai laita mabok te yengame sawning bagum nungai tabugum feel tawi adubu upai lekhide mapagi matung inaduna office ki room de chatkre. Let me sleep in the hall, father, Swami pleaded. Your office room is very dusty and there may be scorpions behind your law books. Swami na mapada kari haige harakanda baba nangi room do yamna motli nangi law books ki makada scorpions mayamam sulay aduna ay hold the hip ke hain hai. There are no scorpions, boy. You can sleep on the bench if you like. Scorpions amata laite nupa macha nang napamaga di bench matakta hippaga suyagani haina mana haibdo yabidre. Can I have a lamp burning into the room? Room do the may than ba lamp than ba yagadra haina hangi? No. You must have learned to be brave. You must not to be afraid of darkness. It is only a question of habit. Yadre mapana Thaunapa bahaibase tamgadabani akibada amambada kiba yade masi matam pumnamakta nangi habit ni question hang bahaibase haiduna mana lem thange haibado yadre. Will you at least leave the door open? Swami said very humbly. Mapada mana yamna humbly request we door dutang di thong dutang di hangaga thamba yagadra haiduna. All right, said father, but promise you won't roll up your bed and go to your granny's side at night. If you do it, I will tell your teacher and make you the laughing stock of the whole school. Pare, nang thong hango habado hangi adubu nang promise to nangi famung do lokhatlaga nang granny gi iboki manakta chatloy ngasi ahingse haidana. Nang adu maina tawba taraba nangi ozada haidokani amasung nakoi gi school do tammiba mi khuding makna nangonda noksan bado noksalhangani sini mapana haise. Swami was pained and angry. He did not like cruelty his father was showing. He crushed the newspaper that had printed the tiger story. He wished that the tiger had not spared the boy. Swami yamna nungai ba faude sauning ba supoi adegi maduna China amagum mangonda feel tawi mapana yamna cruel eva manner mangonda utpado adubu upai lekhide. Mahagrum duda tumba taki. The night advanced and the silence in the house deepened. Swami's heart began to beat faster. He remembered all the stories of devils and ghosts he had heard. He was almost faint with fear. Ahingze tuminna santi de laikre. Swami gi heartbeat se tak 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 yamna thuna chongi. Magi aduta sunatana mana hana takiba akiba wari mayam butki wari mayam loina ningsingaktuna makiba no wantadore. Swami hurriedly got up and spread his bed under the bench and crouched there. It seemed to be much safer place. He shut his eyes tight and encaged himself in his blanket. Swami yamna thuna hugatuna magi famungdo bench ta spread tawre santoe adugi matungda magi khu do konsallaga ma tumnaba hotnei. Mana khali masina aigi safaba mafam oigani haiduna magi mamit to kanna haidi tumsennaba hotnei and encased himself in his blanket aduga masa mamitse masaje loinamak ma blanket sina kupselle. Unknown to himself, Swami fell asleep. In his sleep he had a terrible dream. Yamna khanghodana mase dumain kina tumgre kibaduna maram oraga kedore har kanda yamna akiba manga mamangonda mange. A tiger was chasing him. Kayimakak na mabu pagadagi mangonda tanaba chase tawba se ureba mamang sidaida. Swami tried hard to escape, but his feet would not move. He tried to open his eyes, but his eyelid would not open. He groaned in despair. Swami na ngasai kai sina mangonda tanarakpa fagadagi tawbasidaida chongsalakpasida mana na thokadagi hotnabase yamna kanna hotneiba mamangdani ko tawri mamse adubu ma lengba ngamkhide mamitse pangthokpa taraga su magi haidi mase asa laitraba mi yimgi type ta koigi na hebagi type ta taweba mase yamna kina lei haba mangduda. At last, using utmost effort, he opened his eyes. Aroibada mayam kanna hotna duna may mamit to hangtokre adi mamit pangthore. He put his hand out to feel his granny's present, as was his habit. But he only touched the wooden leg of the bench. At once his lonely state came back to him. He shook in fear and closed his eyes. Mahusagumna mana hek mamit pangthorakpada magi granny bu mabok pu leibra haina check tawba do magi habit ni adumaina ngasi su mana check tawi adubu check tawba matamdadi magi mabok tugi mahutta ugi hadi bench tugi makhong oraga leirameba wooden leg habadi. Adugi matung sidaida mase kedore matomta lonely orame yamna hadi ka sida matomta lerambana ma kibana tak niktana amukka halaga mamitta kupsan greba. He heard a little rushing noise in the room. Adu mamitse tumsan grasu ma karigumba yamna langbagi khonjel amakha ka aduda tai. What can this be? Thought Swami and slowly opened his eyes. Masina mukka karino haina matap na mamit hangtorei. Something was moving in the darkness. Amambada karigumba khara lengba gumna ma ui. Swami lay gazing at it in horror. He was certain that his end had come. The devil would soon pull him out and tear him to pieces. Amuk mana khale gazing habadi steadily. Mana mukari khangyap kanda akibana mangonda akibagi akiba ngatani ngasidi magi aroiba mikup habado la haina khalleba karigino haba kanda mana mamit pangthorpa matamda amamba oraga su karigum bakar lengbu uyeba makibana hadi kibaga adegi nungaitaba tear mayam sina machet mase pung kedokre ai pung thalle magi masase. So what is the use of waiting? Swami thought hauzik ai akiba maraksida sumaina sum leidana karikana gadage haiduna ma wakhan khalle. As it came nearer, Swami crawled out from under the bench. At once he clutched its leg and dug his teeth in. Magi manakta changsalakpa matamda ngasai lengba poto changsalakpa matamda ma yamna thuna bench tagi hogatlaga mana kedore pharaga makhongda chikpa matamda kari oramge hai si yengsi ko. There was a painful cry. Ayo, something had bitten me. Ngasai gi mana adumaina khuzida pharaga chikpa matam sidaida khanghodaba khonjelam khaktang tholaeba. Ayo, something has bitten me kanagumamna aibu chik had. Then there was heavy trembling and falling at me's furniture. Everyone in the house was awakened by the loud noise. In a moment, father and a servant came running with the light. Amaina ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛꯀꯤ ꯀꯥꯁꯤꯗ ꯅꯨꯄꯥ ꯑꯃ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯝꯃꯦ ꯅꯨꯄꯥꯁꯤꯗ ꯆꯤꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯎ ꯇꯥꯔꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯑꯗꯩ ꯐꯔꯅꯤꯆꯔ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯦ ꯇꯥꯕꯒꯤ ꯈꯣꯠꯄꯒꯤ ꯈꯣꯟꯖꯦꯜꯁꯦ ꯇꯥꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯂꯥꯡꯕꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯄꯨꯛꯅꯤꯡ ꯅꯤꯜꯂꯦꯕ ꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯈꯣꯟꯖꯦꯜꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯤꯗ ꯂꯥꯎꯠ ꯅꯣꯏꯁ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯄꯥ ꯌꯨꯝꯗꯨꯗ ꯇꯨꯝꯂꯤꯕ ꯃꯤ ꯈꯨꯗꯤꯡꯃꯛꯁꯦ ꯍꯧꯒꯠꯂꯦ ꯃꯄꯥꯒ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯌꯨꯝꯒꯤ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯁꯨꯅꯕ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯃꯤꯅꯥꯏꯁꯤꯒ ꯂꯦꯝ ꯑꯃ ꯄꯥꯏꯔꯒ ꯂꯥꯏꯠ ꯑꯃ ꯄꯥꯏꯔꯒ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯀꯥ ꯇꯥꯅ ꯆꯦꯜꯂꯛꯑꯦꯕ both of them fell on the burglar who lay amidst the furniture with a bleeding knee. Makhoi anima pulap tasanlameba. Amba nupasidi kanano harakanda huranbaneba. The next day was a day of congratulation for Swami. Matangi numittadi Swami bu congratulate thagat pagi numit orameba. His classmate looked at him with respect. Magi classmate magi class ta phaminaba mi singna mangonda respect ka loinana yengbira ami. His teacher patted his back for his courage and bravery. Magi ozana manam ganda su top thabirami magi thauna magi mapangal adugidamakta. The headmaster said that he was a true Scot. Headmaster na su hairameba ma se asengbe Scot ni haina. Swami had beaten into the knee of the notorious housebreaker and the police were grateful to him. Police na su mabu thagat pa phongdok army maramdi karigino habada adugumba lamchat phattaba burgle huran basing adubu phadana pharaga mana chik aga phaba ngambado magi mathauna do adugi damakta mangonda thankful dorameba. When father returned home from the club that night he asked where is the boy. Mapana club dagi numidang halakpa matamda hangami nupa macha do kadai da laikre haina. He is asleep mahak tumkre so early mapan hai asuknan na. He did not have a wink of sleep the whole of last night, said Swami's mother. Maman hare mamangi ahinga do mikup ama faw ma tumkhiba natte. Where is he sleeping? Ma hozik kadai da tumi nahangi mapana in his usual place magi hanagi mafamda. Sleeping beside his granny again, father exclaimed. That is why he wanted to be asleep before I return home. Clever boy. Magi mabuki nakanda na trama na tumido haidana hangi masina ni mana aina halaktringay matamda yamna thuna tumlamibase. Let him sleep where he likes, mother said angrily. You did not risk his life again. Mamana kari hari sauraga harakanda mana tumning from the tumjasanu nang na magi life ki risk mayam se puwiya banate. All right, pamper him and spoil him as much as you like, father mumbled as he walked away to his room. Mana mapazi na magi kada changkiba matamda lolaga changre kari haina loli harakanda phare nakoi ke hallo angang do aduga nakoi na ngammiba makhai manghallo mabu na hadi yamna kanna sunate mamal habadi yamna tablapna lolaga magi karom de changre. Swami was following the whole conversation from under the blanket. Swami de tumam driba magi blanket manungdagi ngangnariba mayamse tumina taraga leirame. He felt a great relief to hear his father giving him up. Mapana dumaina ngasidi mangonda give up torambasigi damaktasu ma hadi wai sange haina khallaga ma tuminna leirameba. Samain tawdana wari asi loshale.